Start recording. So, in today's class, actually, we will be talking about a very new paper which has been introduced into the LOCF syllabus. This paper deals with a comparative anatomy and physiology of invertebrates. Such a paper had not been heard in any university for such a, I mean, for never ever. So, so problem with this is that most of these materials you will not find them in a single book. So until or unless I finish writing that book, you will not get this material. And by the time I finish writing the book, you will be in the next semester. You will not be requiring it. So maybe your juniors may get benefited by that book. So this is the problem. This LOCF syllabus is tremendously tough. Fortunately for you people, right now things are going online, and therefore the pressure is less. Therefore I am going in a very slow speed, but now gradually just passing your KNU exams is not good enough. You have to qualify competitive examinations. You need jobs in life. I am working hard from the college front to get jobs for you people, and so you people must also respond properly to these jobs. If you are interested in research, please research. So whatever I am sending in these telegram groups or WhatsApp groups, please take it very attentively, because uh, this will benefit you. I can promise you one thing, that getting jobs is very tough thing in the future. So you people must really be very much job oriented, focused, because once they learn that you are from a COVID batch, your credibility reduces, because everybody knows that you are giving an exam, you are copying, and you are getting good marks because the university has said to pass everybody out. So you will all pass out. So therefore, although the marks may be low or something or that, you will pass out. So because of orders given, and problem is that but what happens is that this is a very big injustice done to you people. So you people, when you pass out, you'll have your degree, but that degree will not be good enough for getting a job, because in the job, you need to know things. So independently you should try to develop your knowledge base. This is something which is absolutely, I am so worried about this 2021, 2022, 2023 pass out batches. I'm extremely worried, because I don't think this year there will be any more offline classes. It will go online, and if the third wave comes, then forget next year also. It will not open. So things will be going on like this. Possibly written exams will be stopping, and maybe you'll have your examination through these Google medium. It will be a Viva exam. So I'll be asking questions, and you have to reply immediately. And marks may be possibly given from. Maybe that's a better idea. So this thing can start for possibly, but so far education ministry is taking no initiative in this manner, or I don't know about them. So what I will be talking about in this new LOCF syllabus is the first easy chapters. That is, we were talking about cell biology. Cell biology is a very common thing. You will get all materials and notes and books and everything will be there, and say very interesting chapters also there. But these are also interesting, but many students find them boring. So what we will be talking today is about symmetry, organism symmetry, and another very important topic, and that is coelom. So now let me share my screen. Let's get to this screen. Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, very good. If it's visible, very good. So I have sent this just now through WhatsApp. So what you have in this syllabus, what I was observing you have in your syllabus is, you have to study about coelom and symmetry. In the last semester you had read about origin of metazoa and metamerism. This is over in the last semester. So this semester you will be talking about coelom and symmetry. So what do you mean by metazoa? Metazoa, they are motile, multicellular, heterotrophic organisms. That is, they feed on other organisms and they develop from embryos. So this is the actual definition of metazoans. So let us talk about symmetry. So symmetry can be defined as division of the body into equal parts by lines or planes, and that is known as symmetry. So essentially what happens, you have a body, for example, say this body, and you have this blue line. Let us take this body for example. Okay, so let me just increase the size a bit. So this is, you see this is this 0, this is to say an organism. Through this organism a line is passing. So you see this is the organism and a line is passing, and you have two equal halves, and this has been drawn very poorly. I wanted to be two equal halves. So one is a mirror image of the other. One is a mirror image of the other, and this is known as symmetry. When an imaginary plane, this line, this is a line or it's a plane. A plane, or a plane may be something you're talking about, something like this. On one side you have this organism here, on the other side you have an organism here, and this flat surface which you see over here, the one which I am making it like this, I am drawing, this is the plane. It's an imaginary plane. You actually don't see the plane, but you imagine that suppose something comes and divides you into two halves. Something comes from your head. So if you can see my face in the background, if I break it, you will into two halves, you will see that this side is a mirror image of the other side of my face. So this is actually, so my face is symmetrical. This is what you mean by symmetrical. So this is this is what we mean by symmetry. So in the actually in the whole living or living world, you find lots of examples of symmetry. So what are the types of symmetry you have? The first is the most important. Two types of symmetry exist. One is the radial symmetry, the other is the bilateral symmetry. Apart from that, they talk about two other symmetries. One is a spherical symmetry and a symmetry where there is no symmetry. That is no symmetry, asymmetry. You have organisms apart from that. Apart from that, you have other types of symmetry. They are known as biradial symmetry. It is not actually there in the note. So I am talking about biradial symmetry. So what is asymmetry? Let us look at the fourth organism, asymmetry. If you pass a line like this side is not a mirror image of this side. So this is asymmetry. Example are the poriferans or the sponges. Sponge. That is an example. The other symmetry which is most important, it is bilateral symmetry. What happens in this symmetry? This imaginary plane or line which is passing through, very poorly drawn line, this is the line over here. So this line divides, this part is a mirror image of this side. Say for example an imaginary plane divides your head from the center. You have one eye on the other side, it's a mirror image of the other eye. You have one ear on one side, that is the mirror image of your other side. So you have a left side and a right side coming. Now let us talk about, let us think about what is another type of symmetry, that is known as radial symmetry. Look at this ball for example. I can make this into, say for example, I am drawing all these structures on the top here. So this is an organism. Here you see the first plane is passing through. This plane is passing through, and you see that this side is a mirror image of this side. You have a left and right side. Now let us talk about if the line passes from here. You have this side which is a mirror image of this side. Similarly, this line also divides it into two equal halves, one on this side, the other on the other side. So this type of a symmetry is known as radial symmetry. The other type of symmetry is a spherical symmetry. Consider an organism, it's like a ball. Here you are talking in two dimension. One is from this side and one is from this side. You have a left and right side. Now here think about a ball, a round ball. You go from whichever plane, first plane, second plane, then you go, if you have an x, you have three axes, one x axis, one y axis and one z axis. You normally have x axis, y axis and z axis. One is goes on the length, other is width, and the other is in the other direction. If you go in a three-dimension direction, going inside in a three-dimension structure. So whichever angle this particular plane goes through from the center, you have two equal halves, and this is a spherical symmetry. In radial symmetry, you have, say, a starfish. You divided two equal halves. But if you divide it from the top and bottom, if this is from the side view of the starfish, you see, a sideways view, say if it divides from this angle, you have the top and you have a bottom. The top is not a mirror image of the bottom. So in that case, this is it doesn't show spherical symmetry. But if you take a ball, whether you divide the ball from this angle or this angle, or if you rotate the ball 90 degree, here say the marker, if you rotate the ball 90 degree, even then if you divide it from here like this, the top and the bottom, they will be mirror image. So this type of a symmetry is a spherical symmetry. So these are the four types of symmetry. So symmetry actually in the living organism, living world of organism, symmetry is considered a perfect thing, perfection. So just in case if there is no symmetry, then it is not perfection. Say for example, you meet a person whose one eye is bigger than one eye is big and one eye is small. You will not consider this person good looking, and normally you will not choose that person to marry. If you say a person doesn't have an hand on one side, that person doesn't look good, although it's a misfortune that that person doesn't have, but that person is not naturally selected for marriage. So according to natural selection, that person is imperfect. It's not considered perfect. Specially abled people are considered imperfect. Very bad way of saying it, but to make you understand, I am using a very bad analogy, but that is the truth in life. Say you see this face of mine over here. If somebody cuts me from here, this side is not a mirror image of my head, is not a mirror image of my body. Therefore, I am not radially symmetrical. But if it goes from the top like this, I become symmetrical, bilaterally symmetrical. So now let us go to the next topic, which is about coelom. So what is coelom? Coelom is defined as a fluid filled perivisceral. Perivisceral means inside your viscera, body, in between body spaces. Perivisceral cavity lined by epithelial cells derived from the embryonic mesoderm. This is just the definition. Let us go to a picture from the internet about on the coelom. So this blue region outside, this is the ectoderm, or in a triploblastic, that is, this organism has got three body layers. Outer layer ectoderm, then you have the mesoderm, then you have the I think this is not a very good picture to show. Let's go from a better picture. This is a good picture. But I am not getting the picture. Where has the picture disappeared? Emma. It's become very small. No, let's go to my picture itself, which I am drawing. I am actually drawing this for my book. I am showing this figure. Just hold on. Open with Inkscape. So you see this, are you able to see this picture? এটা দেখতে পাচ্ছ?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So you see, this is a starfish, an echinoderm. You see, the imaginary plane is dividing. I had drawn these pictures myself. So this imaginary on Inkscape in this editor, you can draw pictures from here. I'll teach you someday how to draw pictures. This is the Bezier tool. You can draw pictures. For example, you can go on like this. You can draw this picture. You can draw, so it's drawn basically like this. So it's dividing, if you, this line is dividing it into two equal halves. This is a Drosophila or a fly. So this is radially symmetrical. This is divided into two equal halves. This is bilaterally symmetrical, and this is a sponge. This is asymmetric. The best thing about this Inkscape is that if you, however large you draw, it doesn't become pixelated. It retains, even if it's the size of an aeroplane, it will still look the same. however big you make it, or however small. I have drawn it from these pictures. I had drawn several pictures before, but I found that these three pictures are the best to be taken for a book. So this is one symmetry which you see. Now let us look at spherical and bilateral, biradial one symmetry which I told. This is spherical, a spherical ball. Whichever plane you take, you will have two equal halves: top, bottom, left, right, front, behind. If it goes through the center, you have equal halves. Then this is a biradial symmetry. This particular one. This is a ctenophore, phylum Ctenophora. So you have one plane. You can divide it like this into two planes. One side you have this side of the pharynx, on the other side you have this side of the pharynx. Right, and the other side is that if you divide it through the tentacles in the 90-degree angle, you have a tentacular plane. That is, half of the tentacle from this side is same as that of half. So it has got both biradial. It's got radial symmetry, more than one plane divides into equal halves, and it has got a bilateral symmetry, that is, this divides it into two equal halves. So therefore, with those who have two planes of division, they are biradial. But if they have got many planes, then you can call them to be radial. And only one plane into two equal halves, that is bilateral. This is about symmetry. Let us see if I finish the coulomb diagram. So this outer layer you see in the cell, it is known as ectoderm. Below the ectoderm, you have a layer of mesoderm, and that mesoderm is known as the somatic mesoderm. Then below the mesoderm, you have a second layer of mesoderm, that is known as flankic mesoderm. And then below that you have endoderm, and the white region space in between the somatic mesoderm and the flankic mesoderm, that is in between, the space between two mesoderm, is the coulomb. And organisms who have got space in between two mesodermal layers in the embryonic stage, of course, they are known as eucoelomates or true coelomates. This labeling is not complete in this diagram, so I will do it later, but that is just to explain, because I was not getting a good picture. So let's get back to the original topic again. First, so that is the coulomb between two mesoderm. It is known as, so let us increase the size of this picture, and then we will see how what is the coulomb. The outer layer they are calling epidermis or ectoderm. Then this muscle layer they are calling, this muscle layer, this is mesoderm. This is the somatic mesoderm. This muscle layer is derived from somatic mesoderm. Then in between you have another layer, and that is known as this is not a good picture. I would say that don't study this picture. I've sent it, don't study this picture. Ah, here we go. Oh, but this is in a different language. This can be increased in size. So you see the outer region here. This is the ectoderm. I will send you this file. I have seen this before. This is a very good chapter. I will send it just after the class. This outer region is the ectoderm. Then below the ectoderm comes this is the mesoderm. And this mesoderm is known as the somatic mesoderm. It is connected by dorsal mesentery and another mesentery, this little straight line, ventral mesentery. This is the inner mesoderm, this pink color structure. Then under the inner mesoderm or the splanchnic mesoderm, you have the endodermal layer, and in between is the gut. So this white space, this is a section. You think of this as a tube, long tube goes. You have a fluid filled space, and that is known as coelom. Function of coelom, it acts as a hydrostatic. It gives firmness to the body. Hydrostatic skeleton, that is with the help of the fluid which is present, it gives some firmness to the body. So this is a good picture. I was looking for a picture like this. So an earthworm, outer layer, body covering from ectoderm, then from mesoderm, then you have a inner mesoderm, and in between a space, that is the coelom, and inside you have the digestive tract or endoderm. You have these are known as eucoelomates or true coelomates. Then you have false coelomates. You have a coelomic space which is between mesoderm and endoderm. This space is between mesoderm and endoderm, and that is a pseudocoelom. It is not a true coelom. You find them in ascaris or roundworms, which sometimes it happens because they stay in our digestive tract. Ascaris. So they are pseudocoelomates, false coelom. Why if it's this? Because this fluid filled space, it is between endoderm and mesoderm. Therefore, it is false. A true coelom will always have the fluid filled space between the mesoderm. Between two mesodermal layers, the fluid filled space is the true coelom. There will be, of course, this mesentery present. And then you have acoelomates. You have ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. You don't have coelomic spaces. Example, your flatworms or your Fasciola hepatica or Planaria, Dugesia. These are all flatworms. They are pseudocoelomates. So these are pseudocoelom. Now there are two. Are you people able to see this picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, you are able to see. So if you see, there is two more terms which you have to study over here. One is schizocoelom, or schizocele. This is the spelling. The other is enterocele. schizocili and enterocili. In schizocili, what happens is blue layer which you see, that is the ectoderm, and the inner yellow layer which you see here, this is the endoderm, they are saying. So the first way, during development, the ectoderm and the endoderm is formed. Then in between, randomly, we are taking a section, only a section. Think of this as elongated. A tube, you are taking a section of a tube. A sausage, you are cutting a sausage, a section of a sausage. A round cylinder tube, you are making a section. So you are looking at a cross section. You will see in this region the mesoderm starts to develop. Then gradually this side will fuse with this side. Then you have the gut forming over here, or the stomach endoderm gut, and this is the mesoderm forms, and in between the mesoderm, the space which you see, in between the layer, the white space which you see, the white space which you see between the red line, that is the coelom. This is schizocellus development. So up to mollusca you find schizocellus development. Mollusk, arthropods, annelids, flatworms, platyhelminthes, all the platyhelminthes, of course it doesn't have a coelom. So you have annelids, mollusks, arthropods, they have got a schizocellus development. Now in enterocellus, what happens? The ectoderm is formed, the endoderm is formed, and in this line an outpouch, enterocellus pouch, a little pouch. From here a little pouch starts to come out. A protrusion comes to this pouch starts to come out, and that pouch gets detached, and this forms the gut, and this forms the coelom. So this is the enterocellus development. So these are the two things which you have to learn. This type of development is enterocellus, and that one is schizocellus development. So you have to study about protostomes. So protostomes are organisms where, let me draw the, I will explain this on some other day. I will draw it properly. So this is what we talk about the coelom. So I stop. Do you people have any questions regarding this?
No, sir.
Okay, then I will send this recording. I hope the recording is perfect. But I will send another note. Don't take the picture from that. The writing is fine. This picture is something which I had pasted from the internet and I had not seen it properly. I normally teach with a different picture. So don't take this picture from this book, from this note which I have sent. But instead, you will. I have just downloaded this. Take it from here. From the. I'll share the screen and show you once more. Study the picture from here. This picture. Study this picture. I have downloaded this. I'll just immediately after the class I'm going to send you this. Okay. So you don't have any. I will take in the next class. I will take the next topics which are present in this part. Okay. So we will. I will tell you the next class. Most probably I will try to take it on Sunday, if that's okay with you people. Sunday, okay then? Okay, fine. Then bye bye.
Okay, sir.
Okay, bye bye. Then
Thank you, sir.
you're welcome, very welcome. Okay. तो सबको समझ में आया तो निसाब?
जरूर सर.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Great. ठीक है.